I'm very lucky to be here in the home of Klaus Heymann, the founder and CEO of Naxos, still going strong. And I'm here because I'd like to talk to him about his services to the guitar world, but recently he's just received a rather special award. This is the Sanford Award from Yale University.
Sanford Medal.
Yes, a Sanford Medal, and it's the past recipients have been famous people in the music world, including Rostropovich, Yo-Yo Ma, Bernstein.
The King of Thailand.
Yeah, King of Thailand. So please tell me, Klaus, how come you managed to get this wonderful award, this medal?
Well, I don't know. One day out of the blue, I get a letter from the Dean of Music of Yale saying, you'll be pleased to learn that we've decided to award a medal to you for your service to music. And mentioned, I think in his Law Day show, he mentioned our investment in music, in music education, contribution to American classical music, and so on. So it seems somebody thought this was worth almost as much as the other contribution of the other distinguished recipients.
I think that nowadays, actually, of course, the distribution of that kind of music is extremely important, and I think that's where you've made a huge contribution to our musical culture, classical musical culture.
Well, the distribution is important in the sense we are, I guess, we're now the backbone of the independent classical record industry. We distribute practically all labels somewhere in the world.
Yes.
We distribute even Sony Music and Warner Classics in the United States, which are not really independents, you know. So, and we're very strong in digital distribution.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yes. We distribute, I think, 500 different labels digitally.
Yes.
Which is not actually so easy to do.
Right.
If you want to go to more than one website, it's quite a big logistics and requires a big IT team. And of course, invest in Naxos Music Library. We now have a new works database coming up where you can look up the instrumentation of all musical works.
Great.
Not yet all, but we're getting there.
I've used that. Our local library in Oxford actually has
the music library.
The Naxos Music Library.
Now we have a works database, which is a little bit something more for professional musicians.
Well, we look forward to that. Now, the reason I know you, of course, is that my first CD was made with your wife, Takako Nishizaki. And I remember those days when we went to Lisbon to record at the Gulbenkian Institute.
Yes.
And you carried my bags because you didn't want us to spoil our fingers. Now it's come a long way since then.
And you played also at Palace.
And we played, yes.
On the cover of the Mateus Rosé.
We had that dreadful meal.
And the dreadful wine. Which was even worse in a location like that. It was probably not drinkable. But it was a very good setting.
It was a lovely setting to play. And so was the Gulbenkian. It's a wonderful recording venue, I thought. Yeah. But since then, tell me a little bit more about what you've done for the guitar world.
Well, I think we started actually with you. Then we started working with Norbert Kraft.
Yes.
And when he sort of wanted to start retiring a little bit from actively playing the guitar, he and his wife, Bonnie Silver, decided they would get into producing. And of course, what would they want to produce? The guitar. So they came up with this project to record the winners of guitar competitions. We still recorded 3 or 4 different ones. Peter Luga, the GFA still, and 1 or 2 others. Then he came up with several big projects, Complete Soar, which he still hasn't completed.
No, that's big.
Which will complete this year under a lot of pressure from me. I think he handed one over to somebody else. And basically I rely on him, because I don't really know much about the guitar repertoire. I rely on him to find the guitars, to find the repertoire. And nowadays also help find the funding. Because no longer it's no longer profitable even recording just the guitar if you have to pay his production fee.
Yes. Actually, that's an interesting point. You can still make money recording with a guitar.
No, you can't. No. If we pay his production fee is pretty high.
Is it? Yes.
And to recoup that, we have to sell like 2,000 CDs. It's very difficult now to get above 2,000 on anything.
Tell me what you think about the future of the CD. I know you're a pioneer in the digital distribution of classical music. I'd be interested in your views on this.
Well, I think we still have CDs 5 years from now.
Yes.
Even 10 years from now. But the days when we sold 10,000, 20,000 of something, they're over.
Yes.
And so I think increasingly we'll release things digitally and then manufacture limited quantities on demand. So I think the artist still will want to have a physical product.
Yes.
And there's still a generation of, let's say, 40-year-olds that still also want to have a physical product. Now they're slowly dying off at the upper end, you know.
Yes.
Either they stop collecting or they don't have the money or they pass away. But there's still, I would say, another 25 years when the generation is now 40 will still want to buy some physical product. There will be fewer and fewer, the quantities will drop, but I would say 10 years from now we can still have CD that will sell 1,000 or 2,000 copies, but we'll have hundreds of titles that will sell only 200 or 300.
Yes, so that's...
And once we can manufacture these small quantities economically, which we now can, we just bought a manufacturing system that can make 6 or even 3.
I think that's brilliant.
At a reasonable price. The problem is, if you go above 6, it doesn't get much cheaper. There's no there's no benefit from making more than 6. 6 is cheaper than 3, and you can make 1, but that 1 is now then very expensive.
Yes.
So, but I mean, this will be the way forward, and what it also means is that everything will become available again.
Yes.
There will be no deletions.
Yes.
Because all you have to store, you store the file, the graphic file of the booklet and the label, and you store the acoustic file of the sound. And you put all this feed into a computer, and the CDs come out. Everything's automatic.
Definitely the way forward to the future, I think.
And the investment is not so great. I mean, what we bought was a second-hand system, but if that works, we will install a similar system in Germany at our central warehouse and in Japan. So then we have 3 locations in the world where we can basically offer the entire catalog of classical music.
Great.
We even manufacture and save for the majors.
Yes.
Their back catalogs.
Wow. You know, my main interest in Naxos at the moment is your foothold you have in China, which you've always had, in a sense. In fact, our first CD together was Chinese Melodies, if you remember.
That's right, yes.
How do you see Naxos actually working in China?
Well, China has been, in many ways, a big disappointment because of the prevalence of piracy over many years.
Yes.
But it seems that the central government is finally cracking down.
Yes.
Already for our Naxos Music Library, China is the 3rd biggest market in the world.
Right.
And we've therefore decided now we launch Naxos China 1st of July. And with the aim of licensing, digital distribution, exportation of our recordings, and limited quantities of titles we manufacture physically.
Right.
There are not many shops left, and most business in much of China is not done online.
Right. And in fact, I've been directly involved in this in a sense with recording the young guitarist Kwang Jun Hong. In a way, he's probably one of your first purely Chinese productions in a sense.
That's right, for a long time, yes.
Yeah. I think it's sold quite well in China, but it still needs a little bit of a push in Europe, this CD.
Yeah. People don't really know how good the young boy is.
Well, he was only 13 when he recorded it, so...
And he doesn't have much of a history to tell either. You
know? No.
He won a little competition here, a little competition there.
Yeah.
You know, that doesn't really convince critics. And most critics probably judge by the biography before they actually listen.
Well, they need to just listen to him, I think. Don't you agree?
Yeah, if they listen. Yeah. If they listen first without reading his bio, they'll be impressed.
Yeah. Well, when we worked together in the 80s, I think I did about 6 guitar CDs with you, and that was it. Tell me how many you're selling now. No. I mean, just general guitar albums.
Well, we have, I think, we probably have about 130, 140 albums out now.
Yeah.
Guitar repertoire. And it's, the craft is still producing.
Yes.
We have the Brazil guitar duo.
Yes.
They've done a few recordings now. There's a Croatian guitar duo did a Bach partitas, I think.
Oh, right, yeah.
Very interesting arrangement. They're very good players. And that's interesting. The guitarists come from all over the world. We have a Thai prize winner.
Yes.
We just released a recording with him. There's much more diversified backgrounds in pianists and violinists.
I think that you've done more for the guitar than almost any large company, which I know. I mean, nobody has that number of guitar recordings in their catalogue.
Well, I don't know about specialized guitar labels. I can't see guitar label either with more than 140 titles in this.
Not at all. No. And you have, and the production quality is very high as well, which I think is rather important.
Well, that has contributed.
The instrument.
I mean, not only that, but also I think Norbert, being a very good artist himself,
yes,
he's guiding a lot of those guitarists through
yep.
the first recordings.
Yeah.
And he helps with the music. And Bonnie, I think Bonnie probably takes care of the sound.
Yes.
You know. And I mean, the little church they have there outside Toronto
yep.
is really ideal for. And there's some videos. Have you seen the video?
I have seen the video and I've heard the sound. It's lovely.
It's really it's a really nice place.
Yes. So, just finally, maybe would you give any advice to any would-be recording artists?
Well, I mean, we get lots of offers. Okay, so the first one is don't send any that's not really first class. Because normally I give it to my wife to listen, where after 30 seconds she goes thumbs down. So that's number one.
Right.
Secondly, come up with an interesting program proposal. Not your favorite guitar piece or my favorite, Moonlight Sonata and Chopin Sonata or something like that. Nobody's interested in that from unknown artists.
Yes.
Come up with either a repertoire that does not exist or a really strong concept.
Yes.
That really makes sense. It could be avant-garde Argentine piano music. Well, that's something interesting, Or what's doing very well is like these series, guitar music of Colombia, Argentina, Chile, and so on. Guitar music of Croatia,
yeah. Or
guitar music of Belarus, or something. Oh, I mean, if you talk about the guitar,
Yes, yeah.
Or guitar music of Moldova.
Yeah. That'd be interesting.
I don't know. No guitar music in Moldova. That's a very good accordion orchestra in Moldova. It's doing very well. So, I mean, it's got to be really interesting content, of course, but first of all, it must be really first-class playing.
Yes.
So it has to get by my wife.
Yes.
And she has incredibly high, especially as far as intonation is concerned.
Yes.
She's absolutely impeccable.
Okay, well, thank you very much for your time, Klaus, and thank you for your advice, and I hope to see you again soon. Thank you.
Nice talking to you.
Cheers.